Hey there, YouTubers. It's just half a face day. No, I'm doing today's video. Just want to show you some wedding pictures. You know, me and my wife had a Kingdom Hall wedding, and you probably, if you go into the archives, you can see more about my wife. That's me in my more handsomer days, less facial hair, and my wife, Sheila Estacio. And we had a Kingdom Hall wedding, and so I wanted to share some of these photos with you guys of my better days, I guess. And that's me and my wife there. We had you know what was great about our wedding is that we didn't really pay much for it. Sheila's dress cost $150, and then it was $100 to get it, I guess, restrung up or whatever. It was on clearance. And that's her and me. And my wife is African American. She's a sister. And this is our cake. We had our cake, and it was a nice cake. And we had the rental center was like, I think my father-in-law paid for it. And that's us next to the cake. And of course, smush the cake into the mouth thing that everybody does when they get married. And have here goes Brother Telesford. Brother Telesford, who did the wedding talk. And you can see the Kingdom Hall curtains, the neutral colors. And that's us. And my sister is right behind her. And that's and the rest of the wedding party. And that's us again. Look at how young I look. Long time ago, boy. 27 years. It'll be 28 years this June. And that's those that were not the bridegroom. When you have, your immediate, your best friend, and when the rest of the party was there, sat on the front row. I forgot the name of it. It was a great thing. We had a wedding in a Kingdom Hall. Means we were a couple in good standing for Jehovah's Witnesses. That's a big deal. Here goes my dad and my mom. So my mom that passed away this year, that's her. And this is my father. You know, what's funny is that, and that goes my wife and me. My father was homeless when this happened. And they were having a huge separation, and you can see how happy my mom is. She's terribly pissed. And there goes my dad. And so we got him all cleaned up, and my mother put up with it. He was homeless. They were not in a good place, and she still let him come over and clean himself up, and she picked him up off the street, wherever he was, and brought him to the house, and he was able to do all of that. It was a troublesome time. My father now is a Christian. He's in a happy place. He's doing a lot better. He's just 100% different than the man he used to be. My father was a terrible, sinner, sinful man who cheated on his wife, on my mom, alcoholic, drug addict. That's us again. My younger days. One of the brothers had a limo. So what he did was he asked, what could I do for your wedding? What could I give you? I said, well, instead of giving us a gift, how about if you could use your limo for the wedding? And that was his gift. We really came out with very little out of pocket for this wedding. And there goes the wedding certificate with Brother Telesford, my wife and me. And as I've said, Brother Telesford, he had he had a little switch, It was rumored that he was married, but he was undercover. It was my dad, my father-in-law, Sheila's dad. And he came out of the cult. He's 83 years old now. He looks He doesn't look his age, but we take care of him. We want him to move in with us. We prepared the house for him for the day that he chooses to move in. So I get along with him really well these days. And there goes my mom, a rare photo of her actually smiling and laughing because she was pissed during the wedding. And there goes Sheila's dress. It was a beautiful dress. The tail would detach. That was part of what we paid for. And why it cost $100, but it was a sister who did the tailoring to string it up, tighten it up, and make the tail of the dress detach. And that was me in my dapper days. I wanted a breast. I didn't want a cummerbund for my tuxedo. And my tuxedo I rented, it was I think it was $80. That's not bad. There's all the ladies. So there goes my wife. There goes my sister Melissa. Carla Riley, who I think is no longer a witness, and Joel, who was pissed off. Carla was supposed to be the bridesmaid, but Sheila had her friends were just not good. They were not good people. And so my sister became the bridesmaid by default. Carla was who my wife thought was her best friend, and she didn't want to be the bridesmaid. And she just was a crappy friend. And Joelle was just pissed off because she was in three weddings where she was bridesmaids and wasn't getting any men, you know. So she was mad at Sheila, and she was mad also because Joelle kind of liked me also, I think. So that's me and my wife Sheila, and you can see how young I looked. We were very young, and you know, it's amazing how we've survived, you know. That's us still at the hall, and that's at the hall also. And all the pictures were done by a sister who, once again, we didn't come out of pocket much. I think it was $50 for the pictures. There was my sister with Sheila and me. The sister charged us $50, and photography was her hobby. So there's the receiving line at the hall. And there you go. This is my father-in-law, Sheila, me, my sister, Melissa, and my mother, who looks pissed. Like I said, she was pissed for a couple reasons. She had a reason. He was being a jerk, her dad, which, you know, he had the keys to the reception hall, and he wouldn't give them to my mother the night before. And my mother and my family was the ones who decorated the reception hall. So she didn't get the keys till that morning, and she had to rush everything. So she was pissed off at him. And then she didn't make it to the wedding on time, and she was pissed off at me because the brothers were pressuring me to start the wedding. And I said, but my mom is not here. And then when she called the hall, I told her brother Miles, Paul Miles Jr., Paul Miles Sr., who was the elder, who was going to try to get the wedding started without my mom. And my mother gave me a death threat on the phone. She says, if you start that wedding without me, you will die. So you know it didn't start. And so that's us again. That's my mom, and she looks pissed in those pictures. Look at how pissed off my mom looks. And those are just more pictures of it. That's Sheila and her dad, and that's us three. But it was, you know, it turned out great. There was some angry feelings. It turned out fine. It really did. Oh, let me show you. This is the whole wedding party right there. And this is the brown boy. So this is Robert Brown and George Brown, and this is a guy I can't remember his name now. I think his name was CJ, and he was my best man, and he was a really nice guy, and it's funny, he was my best man. I can't even remember his name. Oh, so, and once again, those are the three girls, but it was great. It's them right there, just the wedding party themselves, and my sister, and us again. So that's us again. There's a lot of glare. I'm sorry. It's the glossiness of the actual sheet. This is us walking into the reception hall, which was in an apartment complex, which my father-in-law paid for, which the rental was probably maybe $100 then. And this is the bridal table at the reception hall. And look at, my family decorated it. And all the food was catered not by cost. So the congregation loved us. We were really beloved in the congregation. And the congregation was Largo. Yeah, Largo congregation. And we were really beloved. And so once again, everybody's gift was bring a dish for the reception hall so that we don't have to pay for food. And they did, and my family was there. And this is us in our first dance. And I sang to my wife on our wedding day. So I sang a song by Tony Terry. It was I'm With You, When I'm With You. And I was quite the singer back in the day. Of course, my voice is crackly and shot now. I can sing a little bit, but not like back then. I had a really great voice then, and people would ask me to sing, and but I love to sing. So that's once again my sister coming out of the we was in the vehicle. That's me, and one of the brothers provided that. And it says Sheila and Augustine just married. And this is stuff that my family did. My family decorated the reception hall. And everybody said my family, when they walked in, they looked like the mafia. Which is true because, we're all slick back. And me and my sister are actually brown skinned, but most of my family looks white. My mother's white, but she's Puerto Rican white. So that's my family, and you look at them. They look like big freaking mafia, don't they? It looks like the Sopranos just stepped in. So, my cousins have long hair, and this is, Sheila's family, and there goes Marion. Miriam's a good friend who we still are in touch with. And there goes Paul Miles, Senior, the culprit that was going to make me start the wedding. He emceed the reception. And of course, those are all the gifts that they sent us. But it was a great experience. This is once again me singing. I had no facial hair then. I wasn't even, no beard was growing on me. And our wedding rings. And it was a great experience. That's us leaving. So she did. I forgot Audrey Williams. She did all the photos, and she had like real style and panache, and so that was supposed to be the picture of us leaving. And this is more stuff that she did with the camera and stuff to make it look great. Now, this is really interesting. Our honeymoon was paid for also. My mother worked for a roofing company, and I worked in the same roofing company. And Ram was a great boss. My mother lost that job because my mom was a bit of a jerk to her boss. She really didn't realize how good she had it. And my mom's like that. She's volatile. She is very temperamental. To the day that she passed away, just her emotions. So we went to Disney World, and it was all paid for. The hotel was paid for, the flight was paid for, the tickets were paid for. We had a great time. We did mini golf. That's us right there. And, you know, we at the mini golf that where we took pictures. This is us again. I was always flashing my my wedding ring. I was so happy to be married. I was so happy that I had a cute little sister right there, and you know, so they had me flashing my ring again near the Jaws. You know, that's Jaws, the Jaws exhibit. They had the great white shark right there, the mechanical shark there. And that's us, you know, that's Sheila right there. She's a cutie. And me right there. We had a great time. It was great. It's been great 27 years being married to Sheila. All marriages have ups and downs. We've had our fights. We've had our ups and downs, but we've always stuck it through. I prayed for Sheila to come out of the cult. And I fasted for her, and you can see how thin I was then. You know, I actually gained weight in these pictures because, now let me go ahead and talk to the camera now. All right, there we go. So I had gained weight every year since I've been out. But, yeah, I even got pictures of her shower. You know, she had, I think, 2 or 3 showers. And that's us with, oh, here you go, Lucy and Ricky. Lucy and Ricky, us there. That was at Disney World. Oh, there goes me with the mechanical shark. Both of us with the big shark from. So, you know, these pictures are not exactly in order, but, you know, oh well. Yeah, I was a fit guy back then. I was actually, when Sheila first met me, I was a pretty muscular guy. I was probably 192 pounds. And then by the time we got married, I think I was at 224, 226. Now I'm probably 294, 295, which I've lost weight because I was like in around 315. And then I had a gallbladder problem in June. I didn't get my gallbladder removed, but I just changed my diet. I lost weight. And for me to lose more weight, I just need to get into an exercise regimen, but I'm always working. I'm so tired. Right now, today is my recovery day. I worked all weekend long, all the nights. It's just overnight. It's all sitting down, but it's been great. I'm very happy. Me and my wife, we've had 2 children. We had time in our marriage where we was just us 2. I was, I think, 20 and she was 21. And then she had her first baby was Amber at 28. And then we had Ethan, let's see, how old is she? We had Ethan late. I think we had Ethan when Amber was 9. And Ethan is 11 years old now. 11 years from now, so 48, 38. She had Ethan when she was 37. So that we had a lot of space between our kids. And I didn't want to have kids. We both didn't want to have kids when we got married. We thought Armageddon was going to come. You know, you never, Armageddon. So we didn't want to have children. I really didn't want to have children. And, of course, when I was 26 is when 25 is when I started really doing research. And 26 is when I turned in my letter and I recorded the brothers when they were in my house doing an investigative, checking up on me, and I just turned in my disassociation letter. And, but we had talked a little bit, but I recorded them and they said some really shocking things, and I'll share that one day, but 19 minutes in, I didn't want to prolong this. But that's me and my wife. If you go in our archives, you can see us with our kids. I did one video. It says, Meet the Estacios. You can check us out there. And my daughter's in college, and she has full scholarship, really intelligent. My kids are really good kids. And what's funny is, right, so this is the year at 11 is when I broke it to my son that there is no Santa Claus. That Santa Claus was a pastor. He already knew all the history behind it, but he still didn't put two and two together that the Santa Claus of the past is not the Santa Claus that comes with reindeer and brings presents. So this is why I know I have great kids. Is that so? My son, we ask him. We always tell him write out a list in September and October, and we'll get you what you want. And he says, "Well, now that I know that Santa Claus doesn't get those things, I don't want too much. I don't want too much because I know it costs a lot of money." So he's concerned, and we're like, "Look, we'll decide what we can get you, okay?" And I always, for some reason, every year I tell my kids, "That's it. We're not going to have a great Christmas next year." I would say that, and I pull it through. I bust my butt for my kids and for my family, and I love them, and I take care of them. And 27 years, and it'll be 28 in June, and it's great. It's great to raise a family outside of the witnesses. I know I've been raised in the witnesses. So you all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.